The debate takes place between two personalities. Arnold Toynbee was a famous British historian, Cambridge University, did not like Jews, did not like Israel. And Dr. Jacob Herzog was the ambassador of Israel to Canada, a scholar, a rabbi, a very educated man. He debates Toynbee about Israel. Toynbee claims that Jews are not a nation. Judaism is a culture. Why? You have Russian Jews, you have Italian Jews, you have American Jews, you have French Jews. We belong to all nations. We're not a nation. We're a culture. We're a religion. Jacob Herzog asks him, what is a nation? Give me an example. He says the Italians are a nation. The Greeks are a nation. The Jews are not a nation. The Jews are all over the place. Herzog responds, the nucleus of the idea is his, developing it a little bit. He says, imagine 3 Olympic airplanes land. One lands in Athens, in Greece. An old man comes out. The man in the airport greets him and says, what's your name? And the old man says, my name is Socrates. And the man in the airport says, what brings you to Athens? He says, what brings me to Athens? He says, my city. This is my country. Take me to the Acropolis. He says, the Acropolis for $7.50. I can take you to the remnants of the Acropolis. He says, take me to Zeus. He says, we don't worship at Zeus anymore. He says, what do you worship? He says, we have the Greek Orthodox Church. He says, what's the Greek Orthodox Church? He starts explaining to him about the church, which of course developed centuries after Socrates. He says, you mean when the people hear the word Greece, they don't tremble? He says, no, they cry. Socrates says, why aren't you speaking the language of ancient Greek? He says, we don't speak that language anymore. Socrates says, get me out of this place. This is not my Athens. Another airplane lands in Rome. A statesman comes out. Somebody from the airport comes up to greet him. Says, welcome to Rome. What is your name? The man says, my name is Julius Caesar. He says, from the Caesar salad. He says, you moron, I could kill you for that. Julius Caesar. The Caesar of Rome. How is Rome doing? How is the Roman Empire doing? The Roman Empire? There hasn't been a Roman Empire in 1,500 years, thanks to your friend Constantine. He says, so what is Rome? He says, it's a city. A city where? In Italy. He says, what's Italy? He says, Italy is a member of NATO. Take me to my gladiator. He says, for $8 I can show you the remnants. He says, are people still frightened from the word Rome? He says, no. He says, what are we famous for? He says, pizza and pasta. Just take me to Venice. He says, we don't worship Venice. What do you worship? He says, we have the Vatican. He says, what the hell is the Vatican? A third airplane lands in Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv. An old man comes out, somebody in the airport comes up and greets him and says 2 words to him. Shalom Aleichem. And he responds, Aleichem Shalom. He looks at the old man and he says, Mashimcha, what is your name? The old man says, my name is Moshe. And what is your name? He says, Come on me, Moshe. I'm also Moshe. Moshe says, I'm starving. I haven't eaten in a few thousand years. Do they have any food in Israel? I need kosher. They have kosher? He says, kosher? They have every type of kosher. Wow. Moshe hears a song. He says, what's this? He takes him in. And there's a little classroom. And there's a teacher. And the teacher is speaking to his little children, to his students. And he asks the students to open up their Chumash, to open up the Torah, the Bible. And he says, repeat after me. And they repeat after him these words from the Torah. Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. And God spoke to Moses, saying, and 2 large hot pearls that we call tears stream down the cheeks of Moses as he observes this phenomenon in the Israeli classroom. Dr. Herzog turns to Dr. Toynbee at McGill University at his debate. And he says, Dr. Toynbee, if Socrates or Julius Caesar come back today to Greece or to Italy, to Athens or to Rome, what will they find? Not the same language, not the same culture, not the same values, not the same God, not the same faith, not the same traditions, not the same heritage, not the same culture. All that remains is the geographical soil. And yet, you call them a nation. Moses comes back today to the Holy Land, to Israel. What will he discover? The same language, the same traditions, the same gods, the same mitzvot, the same exact tzitzis, the same Torah, the same Yiddishkeit, the same God, the same philosophy, the same values. And yet, you don't call that a nation? Dr. Toynbee, if Israel is not a nation, what is a nation? And to his credit, Dr. Toynbee looked at Dr. Herzog and said, you have a point.